Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today, spawning on the west side of the map, playing in red, we've got I Am Magic, playing as the Sengoku Daimyo. And battling against them today, spawning in on the east side of the map, in blue, we've got AOE4 Dev Appreciator, also known as Crackety here, playing as the Golden Horde. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. As always, hope you're all having a fantastic morning, good afternoon or good evening, and we're back with some new DLC action. We've got a bit of a sneak peek, as you can imagine, of the new Dynasties of the East DLC, coming to you very soon, featuring 4 new variant civilizations, 2 of which are on show today. Of course, lots of things have been made about having variant civilizations as opposed to brand new ones. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later in the cast because there's lots more to talk about in the meantime. Of course, 2 new civilizations, Sengoku Daimyo here on the left and Golden Horde on the right, and we already see something very different for the Sengoku Daimyo. They get access to the Matsuri. It's an interesting building, it's pretty cheap actually as it happens, only 100 wood, but it offers them a lot. It's a universal drop-off location. As you can see, those villagers just managed to grab some wood and then go out to deer, but you may have just seen this little thing pop out, the Yatai. So the Matsuri can make this, and it's a unit that can go on the map and gather food based on what's around it, whether it be berries, deer, or boar. Now, interestingly, the way it works is you actually get a 20 food per minute automatic drop-off. You can see the base rate there, 20 food per minute, and then it increases based on each sheep, deer, fish, boar, you name it. But it actually has a maximum of 60. Bear in mind, one other thing to think about is the Sengoku Daimyo can actually see where the deer, boar are on the map right at the beginning of the game. So kind of like how the French can see the marketplaces, the Sengoku Daimyo can see where the boar and deer are. It's a pretty snazzy bonus. And one other thing to think about, some similarities, is that they do gather gold and stone kind of together in the sense that, well, you gather gold and you get a bit of a trickle of stone as well and vice versa. So something a bit more familiar if you play as the Japanese. Now on the other side of the desert of Arabia here today, we've got the Golden Horde. Now you can see this little building here, completely different from what we've seen before. It's the Golden Tent. Everything pretty much revolves around it. It's kind of like the House of Wisdom, if you like, for the Ayyubids and the Abbasid dynasty, of course. It houses all the upgrades to go to the next stage. As you can see, Crackety here, just clicked on Khan and Turguds. So you've got 2 options for each age. The Khan and Turguds gives you a reduced stone cost of the Khan itself, which is Batu Khan is the hero unit for the Golden Horde, and then also increases the health of the Khan and Turgud by 30. It's a nice upgrade. The other option would have been building carts, where you can actually essentially get 2 free buildings, military buildings that is. You kind of get them and you can spawn them out and deploy them. You also get an additional cart as well when you go to the next stage, so it's quite a nice power point there for the Golden Horde. One thing to bear in mind is that, we don't really see, well, what I've seen so far anyway, at least, not much of the outpost rushing coming out, because the outpost rush is, well, a bit more trickier for the Golden Horde. The outposts are very different. In fact, as you can see bottom left here, they're actually fortified outposts, so significantly more expensive, but, a lot tougher, and they've got a lot more things about them, which we'll probably come on to a little bit later on in the cast. Certainly though, it seems like Golden Horde a little bit slower compared to the Mongols in the early game, but we'll see how they develop in the mid game, late game. I think it's where they're going to become a little bit stronger when we talk about the other age up options. Speaking of which, on the other side of the map, going back to Sengoku Daimyo, you've got the Kokka Township. I think we're going to see this a lot more for the Sengoku Daimyo than we do for the Japanese, because, well, the 2 options here is the Kokka Township. There's also one more. I don't know if I can bring it up. Yeah, there we go. The Ryokan. It increases the population by plus 60, very, very nice. But it also acts as a permanent healing buff, which is okay, but only 3 every 5 seconds when out of combat. It's not amazing, but I think the Kokka Township can offer a lot more. The reason being, you do get shinobi, but they're kind of portable shinobi. They're not kind of units that you build or train. They're actually some units that you can deploy on the ground, in the sense that, well, when you're near, you can target a stealth forest, deploy them, gives you 4 of them. And they're kind of like a support unit because they chuck out grenades that increases the damage on the enemy by 50% that they take. That's a pretty hefty amount. And it slows the enemies by 30% as well for 3 seconds, so cuts off their retreat. Now we can see on the right side of the map, walls coming up here for Golden Horde. Yep, you may not have seen it before, and well, you wouldn't have seen it before because they don't get them, but the Mongols, they never used to get palisades, and I guess they still don't because this is actually the Golden Horde, but it's a different site, right? Palisades coming out here on the right side of the map for the Golden Horde. Alright, we've got the Turgut queued up, I think. Yeah, there we go. There's Batu Khan, the hero unit. A pretty cool unit, actually, as it happens. It boosts up the allies around it, as you can see, by a pretty hefty amount. Quite a few villagers on gold. I mean, I don't suspect he's thinking about, you know, Castle Age. Mostly kind of just go for upgrades, it seems, at this point. And it looks like Batu Khan going to just put a bit of pressure on the Yatai and the workers here. He's got an outpost for defense, because the thing is, Yatai is pretty much defenseless. It can't do anything really. It's a complete defender's thing. It doesn't fire or anything like that, so you can't fight with it. Bear in mind though, you are limited to 3 Yatais, but you do get access to an extra 1 per age, so it's not like an unlimited thing. So it can't just like act like a town centre if you like. And there we go, Shinobi coming out, and it forces the Khan out. So interesting enough, the Shinobi in this scenario are kind of a bit more of a defensive unit, I guess, in a way. You can deploy them near home, but one thing that's really cool is that you can actually put them in stealth forests, so you push your enemies back. One thing I forgot to mention, by the way, one other option for the Cocker Township is that it can use a Shinobi Scout. So it reveals a 10 tile radius for 20 seconds, gives you that extra vision. It's very, very nice. And these you don't have to spend any resources for it. You just click on it once it charges up. Oh, this is great to see. So the Yari cavalry, as you can see, we're already talking about a lot of new things for these civilizations. It just shows you, you know, things have changed. I mean, variant civilizations are a lot different from the base civs. We've got the Yari cavalry. It's kind of borrows some mechanics from other civilizations in the sense that it's got a bonus +2 attack against cavalry, but that's all cavalry. So kind of reminds you of the I've forgotten what it's called now. The Delhi Sultanate Ghazi Raider. They get +2 damage against heavily armored units, but the Yari, they get it +2 versus any cavalry. Diving in a little bit here. Here's Crackety here. Going to take the engagement. One thing to bear in mind is that, well, these are effectively a horseman equivalent, the Yari cavalry, and so they can usually chase down most enemy units. Focusing on Turgut here. So microing his heart out, but he will lose 1 Yari cavalry. Loses 1 Turgut, but one thing to bear in mind with the Turgut, they kind of support units for the Khan, so they can absorb the damage that would be directed at the Khan, so the Turgut just absorb it really. One other thing to think about is that the Batu Khan, when he's out of combat, the Turgut around him can heal him up. Oh, there, look at that. Deploying the Shinobi, getting the grenades, slowing them down for the exit, and also, you know, making them take more damage. So it can be really tricky to get away from fights if you're going up against the Sengoku Daimyo. You probably should be able to get out of there, though, in the end. I just noticed the health bars aren't on. I'm going to have to turn that back on, so give me a second. Alright, health bars back on. At least smart ones are. Yeah, I turned those off because I was making some highly edited content, which you'll find, by the way, actual guides, not guides really, more overviews of all the 4 variant civilizations. In fact, at the end of this video, and probably in the video description, I'll put a playlist of all 4. So if you kind of want a rundown of what all 4 civilizations do, that's where you can find it. And it's pretty small videos because it's highly edited, so, you know, don't have to wait for, like, read through or sit through a 30-minute video just to find out all the nooks and crannies of the new civilizations. Now, one thing to bear in mind is, we didn't mention, is the Matsuri do have another little bit of a bonus. Not only is it drop-off point, not only can it make the Yatai, Crackety will lose a villager here, the Yatai, they actually send like basically a collector back to the Matsuri. When it does, it can actually boost the aura of the Matsuri in terms of gather rate by 5%. So it's really quite nice. So it boosts up the villagers' gather rates here at home too. I believe it's got a maximum if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, here we are. There we go. There's the aura. It's actually at the moment 10%. That's probably because the Yatai have sent some collectors back. Now, what I don't know about, actually, which would be pretty cool to find out, is if those collectors are snipeable. I can imagine they're probably not, but it'd be pretty cool if they were. Now, he will lose the AOE here, but he has had, he has inflicted some damage. You might be spotting something new here for the Golden Horde as well. It's the stockyard. It's basically their food source. It replaces the pastures. They're relatively cheap for what they offer. In the sense that, well, you get 4 villagers working on it for 250 wood, and they're constantly gathering food from sheep. And there's no kind of drop-off distance. They're just pretty much instant. I was going to get a wraparound on the spears and take the fight, but here come the shinobi. This could be bad, actually, for Crackety here. I mean, he's taken a decent fight against the spearman, but one thing to bear in mind is the shinobi damage coming out. It should still win the fight anyway, just because of sheer numbers. And the Yari horsemen should be able to run out of there, but overall, actually a pretty decent fight, despite the shinobi getting involved. The Turgut holding their own. Now, a couple of upgrades here available as well. There's the Khan debuff arrow for the the Golden Horde Khan, Batu Khan of course, and gives you a bit of extra vision, but also makes the enemy go plus 10% damage against them for 15 seconds. Both players are going to the Castle Age. We'll talk about that in just a moment because a bit of a battle here. This should definitely favour Iron Magic. He'll push those cavalry away for the most part. Well, this is probably not a fight that cavalry... to be fair, the army's split, right? There's no spearmen here, so we're taking a good engagement here, Crackety. Lost a couple in the process. Overall has to back away and buy time to get to the Castle Age, through which is going to the Muscovy Yasak. This option here. So actually going to be able to get some Rus-conquered units. Well, it's more of a case as more of a bonus. They get an extra +2 ranged armor to heavy infantry and heavy cavalry. So it's pretty nice. I mean, it's okay because generally heavy units tend not to have too much damage against them from ranged units, unless it's crossbows. So it certainly helps, but also gives you a bit of wood. Depending on how many of those units you have, it does reduce. The more units you have, the less wood you get. Going to be breaking through. On the west side of things, by the way, Iron Magic went up with the Sake Brewery. It's a pretty cool landmark. It actually is able to generate gold, but you have to have villagers to work on these mats to generate the gold. Now, what I don't know, and would be pretty cool to find out, actually, is whether the Matsuri aura here, with the villagers working, the 15% gather rate, actually stacks against with these villagers or not. Like, if you build it close enough. I'm not too sure. Probably have to test that out, actually. Maybe I'll try and feed that back to you guys into another cast. Not tested it out myself, but it would be good to know, right? Because it could be a big, big boost. There's one of those fortified outposts we were talking about earlier that Crackety's got. Stables around it. One thing to bear in mind, you maybe see some of these units coming out in batches of 2, because that's exactly how the Golden Horde work. They actually make units in batches. And there's certain upgrades they can get to actually increase that. So typically, you can see the house there on the Keshik, get two of them out. You can also get the stable reinforcements. They've got one for the barracks, got one for the archery range as well. And you basically increase the unit size. You get a third one. And the third one's for free, pretty much. There's quite a good few spearmen here. So it doesn't really feel like it's a fight that favours either player. But Magic just dipping his head in and out, really. We might be getting a couple of hits here, Crackety, for free. Does engage. Veterans comes in though for Crackety, and that'll definitely help him in this fight. And it's a good fight for him. I mean, there are a good number of spearmen, but these are still only feudal age spearmen, right? So it's not a terrible fight for him by any means. There's the arrow coming out for the Khan, increasing the damage coming out because he's level 2 as well for the Castle Age. But more importantly, got the increased aura damage as well. One thing we didn't talk about. There's so much to talk about, right? You can actually unlock some edicts. So there's the Karash Edict, and then there's the Stockyard Edict, which is pretty nifty to have. You can toggle, but you can only have one of these, right? So there's the first one, the production. Essentially, you got to be within the influence of a fortified outpost, though. So hence why he's got buildings around this one, so that he can, take advantage of that, obviously. Then you've got the Defensive Aura Edict, which you essentially increase the health of units nearby a fortified outpost, which if you're kind of under pressure, could be quite useful. Speaking about pressure, the gold for the Sengoku Daimyo is under pressure. So, well, now both players being on the Castle Age, it does mean that they're probably thinking about relics. we'll need to take a look at that situation. Bear in mind, well, whilst Crackety hasn't gone for that upgrade in the Golden Horde, for the Golden Horde rather, there is a way to get the Castle Age where it's called Relic Uvus. So when you get the relics with the Shaman, you can actually convert them into getting an Uvu with more stone. And the benefit of that, which is quite nice, and he's not gone for it today, but maybe we'll see it in the next time, you can get stone armies for the Imperial Age, where you can get discounted stone units. And so you can imagine lots of Uvus, getting you stone, and being able to spend the stone with cheaper units can be a really nice way to scale for the Golden Horde for the late game. Now these are Yari cavalry. They look incredibly powerful and just as... I mean, I think... Let's see what level... It's actually only on level 1, to be fair. The Takeda clan gives you level 1. It gives you good 5% bonus on the health. Now, I think he's gone for some infantry too. So, yeah, there we go. There's the Hojo clan. He's still level 1 with that as well. Now, a couple of upgrades you can get with these clans. So, we've got the increasing the spearman movement speed by 10% and 5% damage versus workers, which is kind of wild. Like, it could even then actually become a relatively decent raiding unit. I mean, they kind of die a lot to archer fire, but, I mean, if you can spam them out quick enough, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Got the Naginata Samurai. A bit of a Yumi firing periodically from range. He's not gone for this unit anyway, but may see it later. Bit of a harassment here with the horseman from Crackety side, and a bit of harassment here from Magic right in the front. The prayer tent's actually under pressure. He really wants that relic. I don't know if he can stay there for too long because the town centre's got some, units garrisoned inside now, but it's not too shabby. But what I would say is look at the food income. It's kind of wild, right? Now the Matsuri is up to, what, is it 30% aura now? Which is a lot. Considering how many farms are here, that food gatherer is really powerful, actually. Oh, bit of a denial here on the fortified outpost. This is bad for Crackety because it looks like he's really struggling for gold. And gold is what he's going to need. It's going to be running out as well. Well, this is not looking good for Crackety. In terms of resources, he's got access to. Bit of a damage output coming here. Spearman will chase and he'll be fine here. Magic, absolutely fine. And when you compare the food income, it's wild. Like Sengoku Daimyo there, they have so much food coming in. And sure, he's got stockyards, and you can see the villagers, they're dropping off the food as soon as they gather it, which is nice. There's essentially no walking distance. But, when you factor in things like the Tawara, and here we've got, get the increased capacity, the movement speed as well. The extra movement speed is not a great deal, I don't think. As in the less walking distance. I think the big thing is the extra 30% from this aura is kind of bonkers. He's on deer camp here, Crackety. So he's going to need to make that work. But let me know in the comment section below, by the way, what you think of these two new civilizations. Hope you guys have been enjoying the cast today, and hopefully there's a lot more coming your way as well. I did take a bit of a break from Age of Empires 4, but I think this has kind of reinvigorated things for me. But do help me out on the numbers. I really appreciate all the support. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. It really helps out on the YouTube algorithm side of things. I've been delving with some other YouTube channels. I won't really go into it too much today, but I'm sure I'll probably put a link to them in the video description in case you're interested in it. Covering some other games, and I have been focusing on those channels a little bit. But I'm enjoying this new DLC, I've got to say. Especially with the Crucible game mode. I think that could be really powerful. And I'm excited to showcase more games, right? Because we've still got another 2 civilizations that we've not talked about from a casting perspective. So there's that to play with as well. Cavalry going to dive on in. And villagers should be able to scramble away, but could be a bit tricky. Now, the situation for Crackety is a bit rough because he's going to lose the income from the relic gold. There's so many spearmen as well. The cavalry should not die for that for Crackety. He will die. And the problem with these crossbows, there's just too many spearmen, right? There's just way too many of them. So they can kind of gap close and just poke and prod against these crossbows. And look at this. A bit of a smash and grab with the relic there. The Ikko Ikki monk, which is actually a bit of an aggressive unit, by the way. And actually fight. When it does, that's when it actually heals up its allied units. That's pretty nice. Now, whether this was... I mean, I think this was definitely worth it, by the way. He lost a lot of units, Magic, but he's got away with the relic. And behind all of this is going to go to the Imperial Age. The one thing that you can get a bit scared about if you lose an army like this is, well, what's the kickback? Like, what's the counterattack going to be like? Are you going to be under pressure? And, well, one thing that Magic has done to kind of alleviate that is firstly leave this force of army here, which obviously Crackety can't send all his army forward. He's got to keep some units behind, which weakens the forward force. The bigger thing than that is the palisade walls, which actually, to be fair, Crackety might be able to deny there if he spots it. So the wall's going to be keeping Crackety at bay for now, at least. Oh, there we go. He's going to keep that open. Behind this as well, giving Crackety another headache, is the fact that 3 Sacred Sites is in play. And he's also got 4 relics now, right? He got 3 originally, and then he stole one of Crackety's. And the big trouble is the income, because Crackety has got a good amount of food to get to the Imperial Age, just doesn't have the gold. He's been struggling on gold for so long. That's kind of rough. And that's the kind of crazy situation, because you got food safe here for Magic, right? At a really bolstered resource rate, 30%. But then you also got relatively safe gold on the landmark, right? From the Sake Brewery. Whereas Golden Horde don't really have that with their age ups. So it's a really tricky one. I feel like maybe they have to really settle for the stone income. I think it's got to be a big part of their playstyle, but I don't know, because that's only in the late game, right? It's only with the relic Uvus, get the relics. You have to get the relics and then go for stone armies. But yeah, he's going to struggle here with the crossbows. He's going to lose that army, Crackety, and he's going to find himself an age behind, and also behind an army. So nice showcase of the 2 civilizations so far. He's going to go up to the... Was it just the Buddhist temple there he's going for? Because he is in the Imperial Age now. Here comes the army for Crackety. He needs to do some damage. He needs to do it now. He's level 2 on the Hojo clan, so extra bonus health for them. Could take a fight here. This is not a fight that Crackety wants to take. There's way too many spearmen. He's going to take a couple of these Keshiks as well, which are only veteran. And these are elite spearmen, so they will absolutely chew through that. No doubt about it. Holy smokes. Alright, well, this is the final landmark. It's gone for the Sword Hunt statue. The Daimyo cost is decreased by 50%, increases the Daimyo aura, attack speed bonus, but to 20%. And the estates actually deposit the levies faster if you're level 3. Not sure. I think he's got... Which level has he got for the attacker? We'll just double check it. No, just level 1. Doesn't really matter. There's just not enough army here for Crackety, right? So he's going to run in, try and get some damage in, but he needs the Imperial Age, and obviously he's just nowhere near it, right? He's going to dive on in. He's going to suffer a lot of damage here. Sniping a couple of villagers, but not enough to write home about. Batu Khan goes down. The Sacred Site victory still approaching. Needs to decap this Crackety. Oh, there's a lot of villagers on this gold. You can see how desperate he is for gold. But now he's desperate for food, right? This is hard. This is very hard for Crackety. Not being able to get a smooth transition to these resources. It's just been a heck of a lot smoother, right? For the Sengoku Daimyo. With the Matsuri. With the Sake Brewery. And considering this isn't even a landmark, right? Like, it didn't have to pay like a whole age up price for that. It's just 100 wood. Granted, it took a bit of time to get to that. It wasn't like an immediate 30%. But it's almost like the timing on the 30% is exactly when you need it, right? That's the crazy bit. It's when you're running out of food sources. It's when you're running out of sheep, deer, that kind of stuff. Gets a castle up here as well. Just to protect the big golds. He wants the 8,000 gold vein. And he's going to get it. Yeah. Big army here from Iron Magic. Oh, cavalry. Oh, God. That's not really what they want to do. 4 loss for free. I mean, it's pretty much a lost game anyway, but that really just adds salt into the injury. Bit of a Wallalow, but obviously Magic won't take the bait. And he's going to be garrisoning his TC forever at this point. He can just dive this Magic and just torch it down, actually, in fact. Doesn't have to worry about having arrows shot at him. Looks like the town centre will go down. Bit of a raid around the back, but realistically, you know, if it comes to a swap of bases, we all kind of know who's going to do more damage quicker. And in the end, I imagine it's going to be a tap out. I mean, this thing's on fire. This is going to go down really quickly. He does ungarrison, so he's going to take the fight. But he's going to get rid of the landmark, right? He's got it, so it means no villager protection for now, at least. Just a couple more landmarks. I mean, he's got quite a few units coming out. Bear in mind, these cavalry do come out in batches for the Golden Horde. I mean, to be fair, Crackety's getting some damage. He's getting some damage. These guys will be gone pretty quickly if they don't get out of there. They do get out of there. And granted, Magic has lost his forward force. But the one thing to think about is when you're ahead in terms of ages like this, if you have an equal army, you're fighting against each other, you're kind of winning because you're an age up, right? So You'll always be taking better trades just by virtue of the fact your units are stronger. Bit of a chase going on here. Question is whether Crackety can survive another big push like that. I think the telling thing is the income, right? The food income is actually pretty decent now for Crackety. It's not so bad. But the gold, not so much. Speaking of gold, that income's about to go down pretty quickly here too. These villages go down pretty quickly. Ooh, this is actually quite costly. Quite a big raid. That's a lot of villages in this area. Only one fortified outpost, which only has positions for 5 people. Oh, he's not reacted with these villages here on the left, though. And, yeah. Oh, this is not good. Magic sends even more. There's going to be a lot of villages. Bear in mind, these spearmen have been... I think... Has he got the upgrade for the extra damage against spearmen? He might have. Did he get it? Yeah, he did. So he's got an extra +5 damage against villagers. Specifically with these spearmen. Oh, kind of couple of good number of Keshiks though, trying to get a bit of a raid here, but diving underneath the castle here is going to hurt him, especially with the spearmen chasing. If the spearmen catch up, could be problematic. Ooh, this is not ideal. Oh, there it is. GG gets called. Crackety does tap out in the end. He's an age behind after all, so he's always playing catch up. And well, it's been great to catch up with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the showcase of these 2 brand new civilizations. More content coming your way. I really appreciate your support. Give the video a thumbs up. More importantly, if you'd like to see a breakdown of all 4 variant civilizations, I'll leave a playlist on your screen right now, and you can get a really good summary of them. Either way, take care, and see you next time.